Students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the recent decision of the Supreme Court with regard to allowing of Jallikattu that was done by the Tamil Nadu government. So we are going to discuss what is Jallikattu all about and what is the amendment act that was done by Tamil Nadu legislature with regards to the prevention to cruelty of animal and how and why it allowed Jallikattu. But first of all, to understand the context of this particular issue, a five-judge bench of the Supreme Court, they have upheld the amendment that are made by the legislature of Tamil Nadu, followed by Karnataka, and then further by Maharashtra, where the amendment was made to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act, also called as PCA Act in year 1960. In this particular amendment, all the three state legislatures have basically allowed sports, that is bull taming sports such as Jallikattu, Kambala, and bullock cart races in case of Maharashtra. So, in this regard, yes, today the five-judge bench of the Supreme Court has overruled the view that was earlier taken in 2014 by the two-judge bench of the Supreme Court, and this two-judge bench giving a verdict in the case of Welfare Board of India versus A. Nagaraja has banned the sports such as Jallikattu and similar others. So, before going into detailed discussion of this particular issue, let us try to understand what is Jallikattu. So, in simple term, Jallikattu is nothing but a type of bull taming sport that has been traditionally played in Tamil Nadu for a very long period of time and is considered as or is played in at the time of the Pongal harvest festival celebrations. The people of Tamil Nadu believe that this sport is example or basically it is a method or way of celebration of the nature, and also it is a thanksgiving for the bountiful harvest that has happened in the preceding harvesting in preceding agriculture season. So cattle worship, since it is very important part of the we can say agricultural festivals such as Pongal in India, the bull taming sports of Jallikattu is considered as very important part of the tradition. And the reason is very simple, because still in the rural India where the agriculture is practiced, most of agriculture is still dependent on the animals such as bullock rather than the mechanized type of agriculture that we see in the other developed economies. However, there has always been a concern and issues related with this particular topic, that is Jallikattu, and it has been contested by many animal rights organizations because they express several concerns regard to this particular sport. First of all, they say that this sport basically allows and facilitate cruelty toward the animals. Second, since the sport include taming of the bull, in this regard, it becomes bloody and dangerous nature of bloody and dangerous when the sport is being played out, because there is a high chance and previous cases where death and injuries has been reported in both the bulls as well as the people who are participating in this particular sport. So, what is the current petition that were in front of the Supreme Court? So, as far as the present case is concerned, the petitioners have actually challenged the Tamil Nadu legislature's amendment to the PCA Act, which has allowed Jallikattu in the state. Now, in this regard, the petitioners have challenged this amendment on the basis that since the central law prohibits any kind of cruelty to animals, there could not be an amending act that perpetuate cruelty, which exactly Tamil Nadu's amendment act is trying to do. In this case, plea also have named states such as Karnataka and Maharashtra as party to the particular case, since they too have similar bull-related sports and they too have done the similar kind of amendment. So let us try to understand first of all the brief issue of development of this particular brief history of development of this particular issue. So we can go back to year 2014 when in the famous case of Welfare Board of India versus A. Nagaraja, the two-bench judge of Supreme Court said and observed that bulls cannot be used as performing animals either for Jallikattu or any other such kind of events or for the bullock cart races. Following this, in year 2017, the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly amended the PCA Act and allowed Jallikattu as an exception in this particular state. The rationale behind the amendment was very simple. Tamil Nadu said that Jallikattu is essential to preserve the cultural heritage of Tamil Nadu, and also by making sure that Jallikattu actually is observed every year, it also ensures the survival and well-being of the native breeds of the bulls, because then the breeders have actually some sort of, what you can say, breeders have they are encouraged to make sure that the supply of the bulls are facilitated when the race is being held. And thus, in 2017, Jallikattu, related to Jallikattu, when the matter was again referred to Supreme Court, the two-judge bench then held the matter that this issue involves substantial question of the interpretation of the Constitution, especially the rights that has been granted to the minorities for protection and preservation of the culture by the Constitution, and thus the matter was then referred to the larger Constitution bench. So before understanding what the Constitution Bench said, let us understand in detail what the 2014 ruling of Supreme Court was all about. So first, the ruling came in the background of documentary evidences that were supplied by two organizations. One, the Animal Welfare Board of India, and second is PETA, that is the People for Ethical Treatment of Animal, that is the International Animal Rights Organization. So both these organizations collectively have submitted documentary evidence to the court, and the documentary evidences have suggested that the sports or the events such as Jallikattu causes physical and mental torture to the animals. Taking this into cognizance, then further the Supreme Court bench led by Justice K.S. Radhakrishnan and Pinaki Chandra Ghosh then ruled that first of all, that PCA Act of 1960, it overshadows or overrides the so-called tradition and culture under the garb of which this kind of sports is being protected. And second, it also at the same time advised the Parliament of India to elevate the rights of animal to that of constitutional right. That means the same right that actually is given to every citizen of India under the Constitution should be extended to the animals as well, to make sure that the dignity and honor of the animals are also protected under the Constitution. And thus, finally, judgment banned the practice of Jallikattu, and the statement were made that the bulls are beaten, poked, prodded, harassed, and jumped on by numerous people when this sport is going on. And they also have their tails bitten and twisted, and their eyes and noses are filled with irritating chemicals so that they can become anxious and they can jump and run here and there, and the sports can go on. So this basically is nothing but a type of animal torture. However, as we discussed later in 2017, the Tamil Nadu government first amended the particular act allowing Jallikattu. This was soon followed by Karnataka Legislative Assembly, where in January of 2017, it decided to amend the PC Act 1960 on the same line as Tamil Nadu, and it also allowed the Kambala festival, that is local festival of Karnataka, where a pair of buffaloes are basically tied together to a plow and then anchored by one person, and the person try to participate in the race where a lot of such pairs of buffaloes and the anchormen are basically trying to race in the wet muddy fields, and whoever comes first actually win the competition. Then further in the same year in the month of July, Maharashtra also followed the suit, and it passed an amendment to the PC Act 1960 allowing bullock cart races, whereby it allowed bullocks or bulls basically to conduct a race whether tied to a cart with the help of wooden yoke or not, or by whatever local name the sports can be called, with or without a cardamom, with a view to follow the tradition and culture on such particular days of the year. So now the matter that was in what we can say in front of the current Supreme Court bench was that whether Tamil Nadu, the amendment act that was passed by Tamil Nadu legislature, whether it could preserve Jallikattu as its cultural right as it claims under the protection given by Article 29 1 of the Constitution. Now, Article 29 basically deals with the protection of the interest of minorities, and more specifically, Article 29 1, it says that any section of the citizens residing in the any territory of India or any part thereof, having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own, shall have the right to conjure the same. And this is the article that is being used or that has been used actually by the Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and Karnataka state legislature, that by allowing Jallikattu, Kambala, and other such events, they are trying to preserve the culture of their own people. And this was the matter that was in front of the Supreme Court bench. And in this regard, the bench led by Justice K.M. Joseph has says that the amendment that basically has been done by Tamil Nadu is actually a valid legislation. There is no illegality under this particular amendment. And though the matter of Jallikattu is very debatable issue, it must be decided by the House of People. That means basically what the Supreme Court bench has said, that this decision of the Supreme Court in 2014 to basically ban the sports of Jallikattu and Kambala is not what we can say is not something that we should go with, and rather the matter should be decided by the representative of people, by the Lok Sabha. And making these decisions, and the reason behind this also the Supreme Court has said that why we are saying so, because such kind of decision where a larger social and cultural analysis and in-depth actual social and cultural analysis is required is something of an exercise that cannot be undertaken by the judiciary because of its limitations, and that is why the matter should be referred to the Lok Sabha, and they should come up with a law or whether exceptions need to be done in the PCA Act, or whether we should have some sort of control or changes in the PCA Act or in the sports such as Jallikattu and the other similar sports. So in this regard, finally, the judgment was the five-judge bench of the Constitution Bench of Supreme Court. They overruled the view that was taken by the two-judge bench of the court in the 2014 ruling, where it had banned the Jallikattu and similar sports. So that is all about this particular issue. I hope you understood the concept behind this. If you like the video, please hit like button, share it with the fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.